always good to hear from X-Nova, as I like to call him, the good Eye of Sauron, as that guy's a master of vision, and I'm hyped to see what he can bring to the support role. I've just got to quickly clock across the Seb. You know, I heard him hyping up OG, got his eyes set on your boys.
I mean, it's gonna be an awesome matchup, and I really think that this RNG is like one of the best in China, one of the best in the world. So looking forward to it.
Let's see if they're the best at walking out. Let's head across the stage. It's time to bring the teams out into the arena.
أعزائنا المشاهدين والحضور، شاهدنا الجيم الثاني معنا في بطولة رياض ماسترز الهوستد باي جيمرز 8. ودنا نشوف ايش اللي ممكن يحدث في باقي الجروبز اللي معنا. مباريات توها باقي ما بعد خلصت، وعندنا مباريات جدا حامية اليوم، خصوصا المباراة هذه اللي بتكون جدا جدا مميزة. والفريق الأول اللي بيكون معنا في المباراة الثالثة على اليوم هو الفريق الفائز معنا في بطولة ESL 1 ستوكهولم في السنة الحالية. رحبوا معنا بفريق OG.
For their opponents, we have an argument sometimes whether a team that's invited or not deserves to be here. But how do you know a team is truly deserving? That's if they made it through the qualifiers. And that's exactly what this team did with a final match of a 3-0 against Boom Esports. Please give a big round of applause to RNG! Now that we know what teams are playing, truly an international and a clash of nations that couldn't be farther apart, but today they will be together on this very stage, and to analyze this encounter, we'll have a great group of analysts to tell you exactly what's going to be going on.
خلونا نشوف اعزائي المشاهدين والحضور ايش النتيجه حقت المباراه الثالثه اليوم. الجروبات كل ما لها قاعده تمشي، وبعد يوم يومين راح نعرف مين اللي بيتاهلون معنا الى البلاي اوفز. لكن المباراه هذه بتكون مميزه، RNG ضد OG اعزائي المشاهدين موجوده معنا في رياض ماسترز، فخلونا نشهد ايش ممكن يحدث في المباراه. بس تفتوا بتكون جدا حماسيه، فعلى طول على الاستديو التحليلي نتكلم عن المباراه اكثر ونرجع لكم في المباراه الثالثه اليوم.
Thank you, Avo. Thank you, Fancy. All right, boys, we've got our lads on the stage. It's almost time to kick off. Of course, I've got my OG expert. Lacoste, did you secretly work for RNG at one stage?
Actually not, but there's still a chance. I'm always hoping for different opportunities, so they can hit me up.
All right, there you go, X.
They definitely don't need me. They have Super, you know, like they don't need me. They have X-Noah. They brought in Kaka. Kaka, he's the one that brings what brings this team together, I would say. Coming out from this position 4, people who don't know Kaka's curse, he leaves the team. Teams are not doing as good. We're talking about like Newbie, Keen, IG. Whenever he leaves the team just gets worse. And whenever he joins, he always looks good.
Better than being the other way around, right?
Yeah, he's a really scary player to go up against. Like, I don't know, I remember so many, you know, different patches and different kind of states of Dota, and he's always been there, kind of performing, shining, and it really feels that whenever he joins the team, that team, there's like big changes, you know, like deep changes within the team's playstyle and their ability to perform. And I think it also happened with RNG, right? So it's an incredible team, really all-star players, you know, Somnus, you know, Chalice, and I mean, and then they have the younger player, I guess, you know, the carry player that's kind of up and coming now.
Yeah.
And he's really also performing on a really high level, so looking really forward to seeing him.
I mean, he's a 12k MMR player. For competitive Dota, it doesn't matter that much, but the competition is super strong. Yeah, you gotta flex that number. Like, you want to be the best. And also RNG, I think we gotta give them also credit for getting the first place in the DPC tour in Tour 3 in China, because it's a super competitive region. Like, if you look at all of these teams, pretty much any team can beat anyone on a good day.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, they played a series already, RNG against Enigma, right? They tied up, and it was a really high level series, let's put it this way. I felt like both teams played incredibly well, and both teams kind of, in my opinion, already established themselves as being some of the strongest teams here. So I'm really looking forward to see this matchup. What maybe might play a little bit against RNG tonight is that OG maybe have a very kind of specific play side that people know them for, you know, their drafts, playing around the Mar, and they're probably quite known now in the West. Maybe less in the East, or maybe they have been also studied. I mean, Xnova did mention that he would like to face OG in the finals, so probably, you know, OG already has no secrets for RNG, which...
Yeah. The thing about winning the major is you put pretty much a bullseye on your back.
True.
Where everyone's gonna study you. Like, if you didn't do well, people are not gonna do as much prep as they would for a team that won the major.
So that's why they were like, Seb, go back to retirement now. We need a wild card here. We need someone that's going to throw people off.
I'm harmless now. Look at me here. What damage can I do?
Hey, with your magnificence, you can melt people's brains at home.
Sure, I'll try.
All right, well, of course, the other thing to think about with that Ghost pick is actually they picked him up right at the start of the qualifier for this, right? Like, he was a very recent addition to that stage. Maybe a little bit shaky in the early days, but as you were highlighting through the regionals, like, the rate of improvement that this squad has seen has been absolutely phenomenal, as we are finally ready to get underway with the draft.
All right, this is it. They did their homework.
Yes,
this
they
is
know what's
something.
coming.
Yeah, this is something that Tundra has done like 3 out of 4 games last time they played. Ban out the Timber, ban out the Viper, and first pick the Razor. Try to throw out OG out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, and it worked really well. I think that's, you know, one of the cards that has been played and has seemed to work. Let's see now if RNG can do it, and they probably can, right? Because I think Chalice already played the Razor in this tournament against Enigma, so definitely something that they're comfortable with. And probably, you know, OG, by seeing these bans, they should understand that this is probably their plan. And there you see it. Razor
They definitely didn't get surprised, you know, like, wow. See that this potentially is the working formula against OG.
And this is why you see also the insta picks from OG. It's like no hesitation. This is like scripted drafting so far. Both teams kind of knew what they were getting into, and everything is kind of going according to the plan. I don't know if Amar understands the respect that he's getting for getting his Razor stolen by players such as Kaka, Somnus.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. These are not 2 bans. These are actually 3 bans.
These are 3
Amar.
bans, exactly. It's like a block pick, kind of you call it, but. Yeah, and then the Nyx comes, Kaka's Nyx. It's actually been banned already in this tournament, even though nobody else plays it, but he's, you know, really well known for being excellent as this hero.
He's the one who can make it work. A little bit of a weak laner compared to some other position 4s, but there's a way to play around it, manipulate the creep waves, definitely. But once you get the levels on the hero like shows what the strengths are.
And Razor kind of makes up for it, because when you play Razor, what you're afraid of is kind of having them kind of close the gap with you and, you know, be too annoying, harassing you too much, and then Nyx just acts like a punching ball, basically. He just tanks the spells, and Razor will bring the damage because he will get the link off, and, you know, with the carapace and the impale. It's a very, very good lane, actually, that OG has also been using quite a lot at the major. That's no secret, so I can like talk about it.
See, yeah, you gotta be careful what you reveal to us.
I mean, this looks like OG is on the, you know, on the right, and RNG is on the left. But yeah, this is like 2 block picks now.
Well, respect coming both ways. What do you think it is that's holding the Nyx back from maybe being a bit more picked across the board?
He needs a good setup in the lane. Like, you can't just straight up pick Nyx Assassin and pray for the best. I think the other pairing that I've seen in the Tour 2 for Nyx Assassin was with Medusa, where you're playing like a pretty defensive lane. If they try to go on Medusa, then you have like a potential turnaround, like you trade a kill in the lane, and that's about it. But I feel like Treant did a better job in Tour 2, better than Nyx Assassin.
It's funny, the Nyx versus Puck matchup, because I've seen a lot of players pick Puck into Nyx, and a lot of players pick Nyx into Puck. Like, the Nyx players are, you know, convinced that they are on the better end of the trade, and Puck players think otherwise. So I'm really looking forward to see this. Now obviously BZM, you know, very good Puck player. You know, Kaka on the Knicks, we mentioned it. So I'm gonna look at this specific matchup, you know, during the game.
I remember a matchup, it was Nisha playing Puck against Nyx Assassin, and he ended up the game with 0 deaths. That kind of changed my perspective a little bit on the matchup, because usually you would think it's like relatively easy to execute. It's about like who's getting the first jump, who's getting like whether Puck is getting the silence, how many sentries you have, who has the vision advantage. But I still believe in this little bug. Like I still believe in Nyx that can potentially hurt him. Like especially if you get like some other layer of stun, something that can control Puck. And we can see some of the better matchups against the Puck. They have an instant stun coming up from the Dragonite, and also in the laning stage, Void Spirit does extremely well.
And it's interesting to see the prioritization, right? Because so usually on first pick, the 8th pick is a strong pick because it allows you to pick it into protecting the pick with 3 bans, right? Which is something you cannot do on second pick that OG has right now. They pick the Puck and it could have gotten countered by what is now the Nyx, but it could have been the mid hero, right? Because now you see OG, they're banning heroes that they probably respect against the Puck mid. The DK is a famous counter, or you know, people assume it's a counter to Puck mid. Void Spirit also a hero that mid laners really like to have against Puck. So it does show how much RNG prioritizes Nyx over trying to punish the Puck. They're like, we'll punish him later, maybe in a weaker way, it doesn't matter. This Nyx is too important, we need to grab it.
It comes down to that whole concept of complementing your draft versus, oh, I'm just going to count this thing out, like you were saying, the fact that it benefits the Razor.
And accompanying the Razor with a partner that you really want, you know, and try to building your own draft and play on your strength instead of trying to kind of blindly counter the opponent and end up with a draft that doesn't really, synergize as well.
Yeah, looking at the hero that OG opened up with, it's the Enchantress, something that you guys didn't play in a while, so kind of a new hero for OG. What are they doing? Adjusting the mouse sensitivity.
It's important, it's important. You want to get rid of all the sound and mouse issues kind of before the game starts, because then, you know, it kind of snaps you out of your zone and, you know, the level of focus that you have to achieve in order to perform in these games. So I'm glad they're doing that now. And some players also pay way less attention to the draft than you might think. You might think you have only good students, and then everybody's kind of looking at the draft. And some players are like, wait, what? And then you realize they haven't been listening.
Oh, you picked my hero?
Yes, exactly. You picked my hero without asking? I'm like, it's been picked for 3 minutes already. Like, where were you?
Have you ever had someone who's just had such an obnoxious mouse that's just kind of flashbanging you in these dark environments before?
I did not actually.
No?
No, not yet.
How about you, Lucas? You ever had that awkward experience?
Oh no, we didn't have those RGB lights back in my days.
Back in my
That's a long time ago, let's not talk about that. But no, I mean, the Enchantress pick, I think it's quite interesting. You know, obviously it looks like a support hero. Usually Marcia has been played, I think, more as a 5 than a 4, right? So you kind of wonder. I mean, Taiga is kind of known for playing Enchantress too, so it could be an Enchantress 4, it could be an Enchantress 5. There's quite some versatility so far, you know, with the hero picks, and then the TB comes.
TB good against Razor once you get to your item timings. Like Terrorblade is not afraid of any of these heroes pretty much once he hits his item timings. I'm a little surprised that RNG decided to go with Lina. Like this is Ogre, Lina, Nyx. Puck's still gonna have a good time. Like
that's
the only hero he
right?
needs to be careful about is pretty much Nyx Assassin.
Maybe they think that the Lina is a really good hero against Puck in the lane, because in the game, Puck for sure doesn't really care about Lina. They kind of ignore each other for the most part, but Lina buys an early BKB, so Puck is not a problem, and vice versa. But, you know, probably a good lane counter. It kind of looks like a Lina mid, I want to say, right? Unless they do something really crazy. We have seen some Lina +1. I know Yotoro particularly has been popularizing in EU pubs, but we haven't yet seen it in competitive, I think. Could be a Lina Ogre, you know, some really strong safe lane, or just a casual Lina mid, you know, nothing too crazy here.
Does it feel like RNG are just trying to play a very fast game here? Because their heroes look like they're designed to fight quite easily.
I don't know if they can. Sure with some heroes, but if we're talking about like sieging the tier 2 towers right now, they don't have enough tower damage. Lina is kind of okay-ish. I also want to see what the build on Lina is going to be, but it's going to be like Soul Ring into BKB, which I think it's kind of a must. You're playing into Puck, you're playing into Marcy, so you want to be able to stand your ground in a fight and deal as much damage as possible.
I think I've even seen Chinese teams like go like naked BKB, like not even travels into BKB. I've seen both, right?
Yeah, I prefer that.
Yeah, okay. So then it could be, it's not super fast, but it's kind of fast. If Razor has like a stable game and Lina too, then you get the 2 early BKB timings. And I mean, China famously known for, you know, kind of using BKB timings and being really good at executing team fights and whatnot. So it could be their gameplay.
And it fits quite nicely when you got these kind of buffers like the Ogre Magi's coming out, which obviously then, you know, you can go for one of those kind of hard, fast carries type heroes that can maybe give that push, because I think we're missing, what, probably an offlaner here, I want to say, for RNG?
For RNG, I would expect the Razor to be playing on post 3, but no, I mean, actually, you might be right. Maybe the lane is not that good for him. I could really see how like a TB Marcy or TB Ench could be a little bit problematic for the Razor. And then in that case, they can always decide to put him, you know, on the safe lane. Because if Razor is ever going to have an edge on TB, he needs to be ahead in gold.
Yeah.
Right? He needs to be able to man up to him. Like imagine a TB Scotty right-clicking down the Razor. Razor has to be, you know, like, fat enough, you know, like with armor, maybe double BKB with refresher that he can man up to him, get the link off, and kind of not die through the link, so that TB gets, you know, all the damage sucked away from him. And then now Razor is actually a TB counter. Because, you know, double BKB with the refresher, TB cannot get the Sunder off. But if Razor is ever behind the TB in gold, he's just food for TB. He's just going to die to the Skydy right clicks before he even gets close to get the link off.
So that means OG, they have a last pick, and RNG, they're still keeping things open. That's why they picked CK, because both Razor and CK can be played at both off lane and the safe lane, and then they're gonna decide. It's a lot of stun. Like this is some like old school Dota.
It looks like Dota 1.
Yeah, pretty much 648B type of Dota, where everyone has a stun except Razor, but pretty, like, I'd say easy to execute on their side.
The analysts, like if we were analysts back then, would have said that RNG right now has a 4 times better lineup.
Yeah,
4 stuns, while OG only has 1. So maybe OG can buy a Hex on Puck, and that's 2 stuns, but it's still not good enough, right? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it is a scary lineup to go against, and actually I think like Ogre is deceptively strong against Puck. I think it's something you don't really think about when you play Puck, but then this Ogre stun actually is annoying. It's instant. It's a little bit like a lift, obviously not as long, but unless you get multicast, but you know, it's a really good stun to have against Puck. You know, Ogre plus Nyx, I feel like these are 2 heroes that, you know, could really catch a Puck, and they do have like a big amount of damage in CK, Lina. You do get stun even for 1 second, you might just die.
It's a very meaty lineup as well, right? Razor, Ogre Magi, CK, even Nyx to a degree. They have an ability to run at their opponents early.
And I would say also 3 cores that use Bloodlust a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you know, with MS amplification, these are 3 cores that are already pretty fast, so Bloodlust is even better. And obviously attack speed on CK, Lina, and Razor is crazy. So I think it's a, even though you don't really want to enable Ogre in general, I think this is like an Ogre enabling draft. Like the Bloodlust is actually going to feel pretty strong.
Gotta enable that position 5. That's coming out from the major. Like, yeah, you did enable yourself.
I'm sure there's like an Ogre player at home that is like, that's what I dreamt to hear. You have to enable me, guys. I've been playing Ogre for so long and nobody noticed me. You were right the whole time. We have to pay more attention to you guys out there, the Ogre players.
Good Underlord pick. Like once they saw the CK pick, it makes more sense. Like Underlord has not been that popular because the CK kind of dropped down in terms of priority, and yeah, it's a good way to deal with the CK. And they needed like something beefy because they had what, Puck, Enchantress, Marcy. Terrorblade is not gonna join anytime soon, so they needed someone to be the front line. I like this Underlord pick quite a lot.
It's a good one. They might get tempted now to put the Razor 1 to try to punish the Underlord.
Yes.
But, you know, yet again, CK against TB. CK has 2 rough side lanes, so let's see how they adapt to that.
You're going to have to go for your boys, right, Seb?
Obviously.
How about you? Are you trying to get a jersey from Seb here?
Did I get one from you before? I probably did.
I
probably
right?
asked.
So you're good to go. You can just...
I can say that I still like the OG draft.
Nice.
Like I think this Underlord, you know, I think people are sleeping on the hero because he's still going to be super strong in this matchup.
So you're both on OG. Don't worry though, RNG. You don't have to give up. You can definitely pull this one back. Let's see if they can do it though as we hop across for game number 1, Black and B-Cop on the mic.
Thank you very much, guys. And yeah, it's RNG up against OG. Again, the panel together, and we've seen it be a little bit of a caster's curse before. And we'll see if it ends up being a caster's curse again. RNG getting the Kaka Nyx Assassin, which has been banned against them previously. It has shown up many a time, but one of the things that I'm kind of afraid of if you're an RNG fan is the Underlord. I've seen Amar play this hero and just absolutely be so disgusting with it too.
Yeah, I think this game is actually like, there's counters across the board, right? Nyx counters the puck, but if Nyx can't control the puck, then puck's going to be completely free this game. And I think a lot is really going to come down to BZM, how much you can get done on that puck. Because if that Razor gets a free game, he will be the Underlord counter, right? And the CK is on paper supposed to be the TB counter. There's going to be a lot of countering going on, and whoever snowballs more will obviously have the advantage in that.
Yeah.
But Underlord should also be massive because the lane against CK is pretty free, and as the panel already said, the matchup here is going to be really, really strong. Especially once he gets to level 20 talent, minus 50% damage from all those illusions. CK suddenly doesn't seem so strong anymore.
Yeah, it could be a bit of an issue, and you know, we've talked about it during the season. Ghost under pressure has sometimes kind of fallen over really easily.
Yeah.
And I think this season, throughout the year, he's grown. I came into Tour 3 thinking that Ghost was a big issue with this roster, but he's definitely found a bit of his mark here with RNG, and I think if we see what we know Ghost can produce, RNG are going to be obviously in a much better spot, but I think he gives Amar maybe even a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy though, because obviously they had that Underlord last pick into the CK, so Amar's obviously going to be very, very comfortable in that. And what we didn't talk about yet, we have Somnus on a signature Lina.
Yeah.
Like in China, he is probably the #1 Lina. Even ahead of Ori, and it's very, very scary what he can do on this hero.
It really is kind of crazy just what Somnus has been able to accomplish on this hero. We've seen him, obviously, that famous high ground defense that he had, where they went in with the OD, but he gets to survive with like 5 health with the Satanic. It gets a rampage. And that also shows that he can play under pressure.
Oh yeah, I mean, we already knew that though. Like Somnus is one of the best, if not the best mid laner in China.
Right.
And pressure is nothing new to him. So.
Yeah.
But this entire OG draft, the only fear I have for them is they're very, very lane dependent and pretty snowball dependent too. Because as the panel already said, they don't have many stuns. And the only way to play without stuns is by really snowballing and getting good items on your heroes. As you see, Amar is actually in trouble.
And getting run down a little bit, but the damage isn't quite there.
Yeah.
You've got Underlord with some early armor, a bit of health to rely on. 840's not crazy.
Yeah. You can't underestimate CK's damage too, though, right? Because he has that Reality Rift soon. It's going to be -4 armor. Underlord is a pretty low armor hero.
Yeah, bring him down to 1 armor, and then all of a sudden you can be in a bit of trouble. Especially, we've seen Xnova in the past on this Ogre, just a thorn in the side of anybody who's in the lane, right? Like, constantly the ignites, and let me just run at you. I'm Ogre. And that might happen here to the Ench.
Yeah.
No reality.
Too much damage. But of course, Enchantress Heal is pretty OS frog, so nothing much will happen there. Mid lane, very even. It's a little bit Lina favored, not by much. Like, we have already seen these really good puck players, they don't really care about the matchup. They get what they want, they start rotating, they start being a nuisance for everybody.
Something we used to see in China a lot was like the 4 and 5 come mid and have a party.
Yeah.
Around 4 minutes.
Yeah.
They have supports that can kind of get away with that. And they have stuns that can bring, you know, that they can bring.
Yeah.
I wonder if they try to even just elevate Somnus in his game, because he has been, I think, probably the most important part to this lineup as they try to make the jump on Akaka. The rebound's not going to be enough there, or anything with it just yet, but they've got the dispose. The damage on Akaka goes to the Spike Carapace. Good body blocks, but still Kaka, a master at the craft of Nyx Assassin. And Nyx. And I'll translate that for you. He got his way out of there.
Pretty easy too. I mean, even if he was in trouble, he still had a Fairy Fire. Like, Kaka is not a guy that would just like die to something simple like that.
Ooh, good impale, static link, and this is a problem for Misha. They've got the plasma field, they'll get the kill, and Chalice, he will get first blood, and he has been the topic of conversation between us. We talked about it on the ride here, and we were talking about it before. Chalice you know, when he was with LGD, when he had that time, he played a very sacrificial 3-lane.
Yeah.
Not so much. He has gained a lot of confidence with this RNG roster, and I feel that has put him into his element, and he plays really aggressive.
Yeah, but they also just give him like Razor every game.
Yeah,
so it's
or
like,
Mars.
It's like favorite here at this point. Oh yeah, I like the Lightning dude.
Reality Rift and the 2-second stun.
Lose that fight?
Amar's gonna fight with Ghost, and Ghost, well, he'll die and turn into one.
You cannot underestimate the damage that Underlord has from all that creep with the aura as well, of course. The Link on again. Misha might just be dead again.
He might just die here. Chalice on the chase. No dispose for a second. Finally gets it. Misha goes in, tries to kill himself to Roche, but Chalice is there.
What's he saying? Close but no cigar or whatever?
Yeah. Close but no cigar. Or
where does that come from?
I don't know. I couldn't. That sounds like some 30s, 20s stuff.
Right.
Almost. It's like almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah. I know that one. My crumpets have been buttered.
Well, Nomad crumble there. Shout out. So with Ghost now dying in that bottom lane, like, do you feel like he could play aggressive anymore? Have you lost that ability to be confident? Like, it shows right there.
He's trying to answer you, but he's
it
taking
shows
a lot of damage.
It's a problem. And he's on the run. He didn't do anything to him, and he's just dead again.
He died to the crit. The Wolf was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna one-tap you there. That was a very ambitious attempt at aggression. Yeah, he definitely went in by himself, but like, Underlord is not a hero we see a whole lot, right? So they probably are not super comfortable against it, but you cannot play against this hero like that. Like, he has like 100 bonus damage from that aura. You have to respect that. And if you disrespect Amar, you know what he's gonna do. He's gonna slap you.
He'll drop some mantles on you.
And Chalice is getting real low too.
Yeah, surprisingly, he's getting chased. No Kaka there to protect him for the moment, but they might even turn this on to Misha, but he turns back around, looks for the rebound. Doesn't quite land it, and oh man, they do get the kill on a Chalice. They end up trading. They've got Somnus in, and down goes Yuragi, as it's Somnus making that rotation. Didn't have to use the Laguna Blade, and, well, I mean, again, we've talked about it on RNG. Somnus is the guy to rely on.
Yeah, pretty easy rotation for him, even without boots, which is pretty uncommon from the mid lane.
He'll be grabbing those soon. He went into the early Falcon Blade. He'll be going boots to travel. Nothing new for Somnus in terms of going for those bots. They've got 3 heroes mid.
Maybe
looking to make a move.
They might.
Kaka looking for that 6 so he can start to be that assassin.
It's a lot of tower damage in the mid. Already at half HP, softening up for later, and you really never want to lose that tower that early.
Right.
Because then you lose your triangle access, and it's much easier to invade the enemy triangle, which of course Terrorblade will be very happy to retreat to at some point. Who's actually sitting very low to CS, because usually you pick Terrorblade to counter the Razor, but the lane didn't go well at all.
Yeah. And then especially with the Somnus rotation, making it that much harder. I'm a little interested, and I kind of want to talk to you about the Ogre pick. You know, in China, it's been very heal 5.
Yeah.
Like we talked about in the last series, your Warlocks, your Winter Wyverns, especially Xnova loves the Winter Wyvern. You know, you're trying to... Ench is definitely one of those that we've seen in the 5 as well. Are you surprised by an Ogre to be in the 5 position for this team?
Hold that thought.
Yuragi gets chased.
No.
Kaka, not in range.
Yeah, so, I mean, the only reason they picked Ogre this game is because they have like a very clear idea of buffing up 3 right-clickers, right?
Right.
The Razor, the Lina.
Bottom lane.
As well as the CK.
Nothing doing just yet. And just a Firestorm. And just putting the pressure on the Ghost, and now they've actually got a lot of heroes here. Xnova, he'll fall. Amar, he'll get credit for the kill. They brought Yuragi down. They want to try and get Ghost again. He finally hits that level 6. He'll go for the TP, and I mean, it's free.
Yeah, that should be the tower gone, though.
Yeah.
That's the problem with offlane Razor we always get to, right? Why I don't like to hear in the offlane. You are not really an offlaner at all. You're more like a carry in the offlane.
Right.
So until you get your BKB, you can't really be too active. And who are you going to rely on? it's going to be Kaka probably trying to make the plays together with Somnus.
And he's trying to hit that 6. He's very close to it. He's soon have that Vendetta to make the moves. And maybe roll around with Somnus, because they've got a lot of damage. Vendetta into an Impale, LSA, even if that's, you know, needed at that point. That feels like a lot of damage. And then you've got, of course, the Laguna Blade for the burst.
Yeah, I mean, the advantage they have is it should be a lot simpler for them to make plays because they have a lot of stunts, right? The only problem now is that CK is incredibly pressured, so he doesn't really want to fight a lot.
Yeah.
Which puts a lot of pressure on Somnus once more.
And we've seen him, you know, try to deal with this pressure at times, and we've seen it a lot throughout the year. And OG's doing a good job. Like, they have played this really well.
They have.
Despite the fact that they lost Yuragi top, I think things for OG have looked pretty good, and they might look even better. Well, Misha going in on a Chalice. They've got a +1 in the puck, making the rotation. BZM, Illusory Orb jaunting with the help of Taiga. Kaka's here. Can he save Chalice? He'll land the Vendetta. The Dream Coil is dropped. Now the silence is there with the Waning Rift, the Spike Carapace, and he'll break the coil with the Spike Carapace, and it allows him to get the kill to BZM. A wise move from Kaka, who, well, is known as the wise man of the Chinese region. But, I mean, that is a good trade that they end up getting on a smart move from Kaka. It looked really good for OG, the way they made that pinch move.
Yeah. I mean, that's why his Nyx is usually banned so much. Like,
first phase.
He uses his Carapace better than almost any other player does.
Right.
That coil break right there, it looks pretty simple, but like, you have to think like 10 seconds ahead already, right? I'm gonna show myself here, I'm gonna get coiled, then I'm gonna break the coil, someone's gonna be there for all the damage, and just wait. Like, he doesn't break it right away, he's kind of just waiting, you know? He's waiting for Somnus to be in range, he gets in range, bam, instant burst.
And it's about the last second that coil was going to last too. So drawing his team in, going further south towards his team. That was pretty perfect from him. But 5-5, that 1K net worth lead that OG once had is now kind of dwindling a little bit. Ghost is starting to find some open space, but you can see how just poor he is on the net worth, and well, how poor news this is for Xnova that the Dire's in your jungle.
Yeah, but right now, RNG's lineup is very greedy. So they just want to get away with it until they have to raise a BKB. Once they raise a BKB, it's up, they can actually start taking fights quite comfortably. It will have to depend, though, on the TB also, how big he is, because TB is the Razor counter this game. It's going to be very difficult for him to fight. Oh, the heals are too much.
The heal, Plasma Field doesn't land.
No. Too tanky. The Fluffy Head made the difference.
Yeah.
Fluffy Head, raindrops.
And that's the Laguna Blade. You kind of wanted to bump up Chalice on the net worth or try to get Somnus a little bit more gold because he's also
Kaka again.
Spike Carapace and nothing doing just yet. He's still dusted.
Damage on the puck or not. What was once there is not there anymore, B-Cup.
It is gone.
The definition of magic.
He still has this Vendetta. Didn't break it despite being dusted.
Trying to kill the Eng.
Yeah, he'll move over, get a Taiga.
Look at his hands. Oh, he doesn't even try. It's always so funny when Nyx tries to hit the Eng. He's like, he got you.
It's like doing the wave.
Except way slower.
Depends where you are, what stadium you're at. But now it's time for OG to make a move into the Radiant side. They'll get the kill on Xnova. Taiga gets credit for that one, and
the Fiends gated in the
Fiends gate.
And he's back out. Bye.
8 seconds left on that gate.
Fiends Gate is such an underutilized ability. Like, that's also why the hero is so strong. Like, I'm completely on board with the cost. I do think Underlord is very, very underrated.
Well, I remember I was watching one game, Amar was just using it to, like, farm out bottom creep wave, throw it up towards top, farm out that creep wave, and he was top of the net worth, just, like, so far ahead of others, using it to farm so efficiently.
I mean, Amar is pretty much an offlane carry as well, right? Like, that's just how OG plays. So
one of the best offlaners out there, if not, you know, considered one of the best, you know, the best by many.
Aka's looking.
And that gives away the fact that they do have the Sentry Ward down. The question is, at least for RNG, where? But they'll worry about that after, as they do take it out and get the kill on Misha too. So Sentry down, giving Nyx a little bit more of a free reign to move around. And let's see if RNG can finally secure a tower. Just
Razor hitting a tower seems so sad.
Yeah.
Hitting for like 20. And
Easy again.
Defend, I think. Yeah. They need Lina for these tower pushes, otherwise it's never gonna work.
Somnus really wants that BKB. Chalice is close, but not on it just yet.
Yeah, the BKB timings are gonna be everything for RNG.
Dragonlance for Taiga after that fluffy
He's going into the right tick Ench, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Ench can scale really well into the mid-late game if you get a good early game, which obviously he has.
And ooh, a stun immediately threw out onto the Marcy. Not gonna matter though. X-Nova is dead again.
They got the coil on Ghost.
Was a coil down. Ghost though on the run. They've got the help from Kaka as well. Somnus, but the LSA misses. The Pit of Malice is there. And they will, well, be able to disengage if they want. Oh, Misha, I don't know if he meant to do that on the rebound.
Gotta be careful when you run into the Underlord's domain.
Yes.
The Pit of Malice, Firestorm is never fun.
Especially if the fight just continues to take place there.
Yeah, Underlord loves long fights. Like, his damage stacks up with the trophy aura, starts right-clicking harder than anyone else. Nice juke by the puck.
With Kaka right there, looking ready. But that was really well done by BZM.
Yeah, we spoke about it already in the past, right? Like, if you're a very confident puck player, you don't fear anything.
It's crazy. I don't know if you ever feel like this when you watch OG games. I'll actually hold that thought. Static Link, Taiga
just
though.
Walk away.
Just, yeah, enchant and walk away. Like, we know how good OG is, right?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I feel like even the small movements, they still impress me so much. Like the little things, it shows off how good they are.
I mean, for me, OG individually, they're some of the best in the world. Obviously, like very few people can match them. The only problem they have oftentimes, in my opinion, is when it comes together like all as a team. Like they get out team play quite a bit, which we'll see. You know how much better they've got. Obviously, they won a major, so it's hard to say that. But yeah, the individual talent on this team is it's kind of unbelievable, honestly.
Top tier.
Yeah, like all of their players.
They have a 2K lead right now, and still Ghost is falling very far behind. And on top of that, you know, Chalice, he's trying to get that gold. He does have that BKB now. He's going into the Shivas, but is that enough?
Might just be a casual plate mail too and then into the refresher. So the problem is, as Razor, you can't really run into a Terrorblade because it's going to meta and kill you with the illusions. So you definitely need a casual plate mail. I like it a lot. However, committing for a full Shivas, I think, is a little bit too much.
Right.
It doesn't offer enough for the price at that point. Oh, they're looking for a fight top.
They have a BKB on Somnus now, so can they get away with fighting? Not while Somnus is back at the base, that's for sure, and X-Nova is there too. Oh, they find Taiga again.
He is.
This time, he will die. He doesn't just get to enchant and walk away. That's for sure. Somnus top of the net worth, but we'll see if RNG can do anything with it. You can see the other two cores aren't exactly as wealthy.
They're smoking up straight away, the Ogre, Nyx, and the Lina. They're looking for more fights. But OG, very wise. They just dodge it completely. They might be even looking for a smoke themselves.
Yeah, they're grouped really well. While that's going on, RNG, they back up into the Roche pit, but they've got the stun out through on Amisha. On the Quiff, though, is BZM. They don't get this kill onto the Marcy just yet, who pops that ult. So into the Unleash. Let's see what they do unleash. They get the kill on X-Nova. They'll take out one. The Ogre's gone. They've used the meta. They've committed. They look for the dust onto Kaka, but he is well out of the fight. And with that, they're going to start to maybe think about Roche. The Metamorphosis duration is about half. They're postured up, maybe thinking RNG's going to come back again.
Yeah, but RNG is just going to wait out the Metamorphosis. And of course, Terrorblade not scary at all.
Kaka still in the Vendetta, but there's the Pit of Malice. Misha jumping in. BKB is popped by Chalice, and Misha will fall. Kaka still searching. He wants the proper target with this Vendetta, but it ends up running out without them using it. Now they'll find themselves BZM. Illusory Orb and jaunting away, but is he far enough from this team? Not looking likely. LSA into the Impale. They get the kill on a BZM. They'll take him out. Double kill for Chalice, now dominating. And we're even at 9.
Yeah, well played. Tracking down his movements. nicely, and that's also what Ogre is really good at, right? He gives it a Bloodlust, all the heroes are super fast, so even a hero like Puck can't always get away. Now into the Impale Stun Duration talent, and it's always my stat. Nyx is the only hero that has 2 Stun Duration talents.
Sheesh.
Now you know.
Taking a look.
And as a Wildkin in the... Man, killing an Ench Enchanted Creep is so difficult. Like, they smoked up, but the Wildkin obviously saw that. So that smoke should really amount to much.
TB no meta.
TB no matter, yeah, for 50.
But they'll run into Misha first.
They're looking for TB, but yeah, Misha.
And then, look at that. Immediately, Yuragi goes the other way. Kaka even jolts over to Misha. They do get the kill onto the Marcy, making it 10-9. But that death is fine.
Yeah.
Keeps the TB alive.
They're getting very close to the BKB on Underlord. And you know, the goldie was 3k before, now it's just 1k. So RNG is making up ground slowly but steadily.
Yeah. They've done a good job. I think always the question right now with the team is whether or not Ghost is going to make his way back in, and they're going to go to the Fiend's Gate, or well, maybe just open one up for him to leave.
Go in, Chalice.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, what's the problem? It would have been such a power move, such a Shad move.
Just to go.
Yeah, and then you kill the engine and go back. Like, oh, thanks.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the move.
You know what they should do? Like, when an enemy goes through the portal, they should also receive the bonuses.
That's what I was wondering. You know,
why don't they?
It just says heroes can channel, and then allies that pass through the portal temporarily gain the damage reduction. But
actually,
I think there should be some risk.
I've never tried it. Like, do enemies get the buff too? I don't think so, right?
No, it says allies, so I assume not.
Chalice. He will have to BKB here, maybe.
Maybe he'll turn, but not looking like he really wants to. It's actually X-Nova who will tank this gank. As Chalice is still on the run, Plasma Field, Kaka here, Impale lands onto Misha, who unleashes. Rod.
Ooh, from downtown, the Atos, but okay, it's a Nyx Assassin. Meta used again for Roshan this time once more. They don't have a BKB on TB though. They're still fighting onto the BKB timings.
Yeah, but Somnus isn't there.
Somnus isn't there, and Chalice is sitting real low. So
they're not even...
It looks kind of free, yeah. Nice decision making.
It's not that fast. They still have an opportunity. They are right there.
Misha
stops the TP, gets the kill to Misha. Maybe they go into the pit. They're getting the plasma field as well as the BKB, but there's the kill for RNG.
Chalice very low, Chalice.
Technically a snatch for BZM. They get the kill to Chalice, who ran in with the BKB. They look over at Yuragi, who uses the Sunder, but then they get hit with the Laguna Blade. They get the kill to the Terror Blade. Now they'll find their eyes set on Taiga. And Ghost will get himself another. It's a double kill for this CK, and all in all, I mean, the Aegis goes into the hands of BZM, but RNG, they get the Roche kill, and they get 3 on top of that.
Yeah, I'm a little bit dumbfounded by this move, to be honest. Like, you killed an Ogre, and just commit to a Roche without like an Ursa or something that kills Roche super fast, right? Ultimately, they still get the Roche kill, as I said, and the Aegis, but you gave a lot of gold over to RNG. Like, you were fighting into their timings, basically.
They have a 2k lead now.
Very confidently so. And probably backfired just a little bit.
Getting that Roche kill was definitely important for RNG, but they would have loved to, of course, have that Aegis too.
Yeah.
But it's consolation prizes that I don't think you're too upset with if you're RNG, and now OG...
Nah, your CK is rich, your Lina is rich.
And now Ghost is finally at the top. Like, RNG have done their job. They've gotten Ghost back into the game. They've given him the time to fuel himself. Radavetos through on a Kaka, but let's see. Fake grenade and...
It's a speedy bug.
Yeah, very simple for Kaka to just walk out. These fights haven't exactly been long and drawn out.
No.
We've talked about that's kind of what OG might like.
Yeah, but there's so much burst damage coming out from RNG, right? From the Lina, from the Underlord.
They've got the smoke, they'll look for MR, they've got the blink as well as the impale. LSA with the Laguna Blade. The rebound's not gonna matter, as they'll put that right back into the basket. They'll get the kill there on MR. They'll look over at Yuragi to try and get themselves a 2-pointer, and they will find themselves 2 with Taiga going down. Chalice with a double kill. LSA, the right clicks are in. Down goes Misha, and RNG are starting to feel themselves. Somnus now dominating.
And I mean, we spoke about the winning condition of OG, right? Like they had to go get out of the lanes really well and transition to a strong mid game, but RNG has really taken it away from them. Now, the problem is that they don't have great damage through BKB. They don't have survivability anymore because they have so much farm on RNG, and the game is going to get very, very, very difficult from this point onwards.
Right.
Shiva's got completed. The power of Razor offlane is that you basically have a tri-core, right? Like he becomes like an actual carry hero. So your damage in team fights and as the game drags out is always going to be superior. And look at the top 3 net worth.
Yeah. RNG have kind of got themselves a good foothold on this one. It's a 4-man smoke from OG to try and make something happen. Who can they find? That is the ultimate question for OG at the moment. Amar on the edge, but there's the Vendetta and the walk back route of Atos thrown over on Nova. But is that really who you want? They'll go, they'll get the kill on the Ogre, but there's the good way they find themselves at least to trade the Reality Rift onto Amar as well as a 3-second Chaos Bolt. Amar not as tanky as he'd like to be, and the rest of the team kind of bailing on him as they do lose 2. The only one gone is the Ogre. The chase is on for Taiga. And there's the Reality Rift, right clicks in, and a double for Ghost.
Yeah, making it look easy at this point. Amar, second fight in a row, couldn't get his BKB off. There's just so much damage. If you're stunned just once, you just die instantly. And it's only gonna get worse. Like we spoke about the tri-core, right? Like they're getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and the timer is really on OG to do something with the Terrorblade. He has his BKB now, so they're probably gonna try to look for a fight. But CK at this timing is a hard counter to Terrorblade. He cannot fight CK at this point.
Taking a look back at that last skirmish.
Yeah.
Atos, Waning Rift, the silence, the jump in with the rebound, and then Laguna Blade to kill off Misha as a trade. And then Kaka's ready with the Impale, and they parlay that into a 3-second Chaos Bolt. Like, the damage is there. The lockdown is always abundant for RNG.
Yeah, and that's their draft, right? They have so many stuns, so much lockdown.
5-man smoke this time from OG. It feels like they are throwing themselves at fights and trying to come out ahead.
Yeah. Hopefully not at the meat grinder, because that's how it looks like right now.
Feels like that silence through on Kaka. They look for the Chaos Bolt. They go to the Unleash. They're trying to get the damage out onto the Nyx Assassin. Taiga gets credit for it. It's only 1 for this 5-man smoke. Is that really everything you wanted?
You might catch the Ogre. Even then, it wouldn't really amount to a whole lot. Meta was committed for this as well, so they need to at least get the mid tower.
There's the glyph. Now Somnus is in. Kaka's got buyback if necessary. They've kept BCM over on the cliff to try and maybe find an illusory orb in, as well as the Dream Coil. They're going to jump in with the BKB pop by Ghost. Getting the kill on Amisha very quickly with the BKB pop by Chalice, as well as Iragi. They're going to fight and try to man up on each other with the TP out for the Terrorblade. Now their eyes are focused on Taiga again. The Enchantress on the run. The damage is out. Ghost with another. He's unstoppable. And everything OG's thrown at RNG has just been deflecting, palmed away, and they just can't break through to the other side.
That is kind of starting to look like the beginning of the end. Like, the damage output is just not there, and Terrorblade needs like at least 2 more items to have the damage. I love that itemization decision also from Iragi. He had the Skadi queued up, saw the last team fight, he's like, no way we can win any team fight like that. Queues up the Daedalus.
A lot of damage being dealt by Chalice this game, and he's going into the refresher. He did commit to the Shivas and didn't just go to the plate mail.
Yeah.
Somnus also looking for the MKB. He's in that Silver Edge. The items are coming out still for RNG, and their timings are extending.
Yeah. Razor is a very dirty hero in a sense, where you just walk into a fight, he deals so much damage passively. And I think RNG is one of the only teams that actually favors it to this degree. Like, they first phase it whenever they can.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward, honestly. Like, as this tournament goes longer, like, what kind of meta is gonna evolve? Like, who's gonna take what from who? You know?
Well, China's finally in the mix, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're bringing something a little bit different. When we interviewed these guys in the China DPC, they have constantly talked about how they try to replicate LGD's play. But that's because they've been regional this entire time, and now you're getting more influence, as well as the fact that every other team here that didn't play China is getting influence from them.
Yeah.
Like, this could evolve not only this meta, but what's coming to follow. And what's following in the moment is another Misha death and a wicked 6 streak for Somnus.
Yeah, the space is running very thin. The map is getting taken over rapidly. I mean, just look at Ghost. Like, he's so strong now as well. Yeah, 18k Nepo from the lead. 19k. The damage output of the Radiant team is actually just ridiculous. Like, all three of their cores can easily kill any of the cores of OG.
Right. Enchanted Quiver for the side of RNG. I would assume Lina wants that, maybe?
Potentially, yeah. But right now he's sticking to the Paladin sword.
He's near the tier 2. I don't know if that is the safest spot, but now the tower doesn't exist and RNG will fall on back. They're waiting for Roche, but it is a long one. 2 minutes, 45 seconds.
Yeah. Here's the problem for OG, right? They can never burst the hero 100 to 0. The only stun they have is Dispose, which you can easily react with BKB to, or a mini stun of the coil. So no matter how out of position you are, you cannot get bursted. The BKB will come, you'll turn around, and then you can still take the fight on your terms. Are they trying to itemize in a way to sort of alleviate that problem? How do you even itemize? Like you need like a basher or something. Like not like any of the heroes can get a basher.
I mean, Marcy technically could, but Misha's not surviving in these fights.
Yeah, he has his Ether Lens at least, so the range is going to be a little bit better. But still, it's like so telegraphed, right? It's not a Nyx stun out of Invis. It's not a Lina stun out of Invis or an Ogre instant stun. You're looking at like maybe half a second travel time.
Huh. They'll go for Ghost. Trying to find out his big secret, and well, he's very survivable. Goes the Phantasm, turns it around on Amisha, and here comes Kaka. He's got the blink, but the impel off the mark. Taiga thinks about turning around for a second, but the rest of the side of OG will leave. And RNG are gonna smoke up and go.
Yeah. They don't have to be scared at all. Taiga is gonna be in the meat grinder.
Blinks forward and trying to look. They've got the silence out of BZM. He's on the cliff. Pit him out on Kaka. They go to the Metamorphosis. BZM with the damage coming through. They get the cone to Kaka, but the Static Quake is there with Chalice popping the Refresher. The freshly built Refresher, the TP out from Yaragi. They're going to leave the fight, but there's the Feeds Gate. Amar, you left him a gate to go right outside your fountain. I want to see them go for it. But again, they probably won't. Taiga on the run, the Plasma Field hits him, but now they're going to try and turn. Yaragi still has a little bit of the duration left on the Metamorphosis, as well as BZM behind him. The silence is there from the Waning Rift, but he's got the help of the Bloodlust coming in from X-Nova. They still look to chase a little bit. They don't have the Rod of Atos. They don't exactly have the Rebound and Dispose to make up the gap between them and these heroes. So OG don't find anything when they chase RNG away.
Yeah. The good news is that they won't have the Refresher, and Roshan is about to respawn. Bad news is you also don't have Metamorphosis.
Yeah.
So you actually can't go for that Roshan even if you wanted to. And Lina is still... He has a double damage bottle on Lina. So that next team fight, he is going to destroy.
And he's level 25.
Oh yeah, has the attack range now.
Attack range.
Yeah. 125 attack range for a hero like Lina is... kind of absurd. He also went back into the Dragonlance as like 5th item. Because he knows, he just needs to stand behind his Razor, stand behind your CK. That's all you gotta do. Right click the Terrorblade.
RNG up 11,000, but OG, you never count him out. Ever. This is a team that is quite resilient.
Yeah. And this is the power of Ogre now, right? You have 3 cores that absolutely thrive with Bloodlust. They love this spell. And it's all coming together very, very nicely for them.
Roche is just so quick. They're going in with a Dispose, but look at that. Misha just bursted down again. They get the kill on X-Nova, but it's only the Ogre. The right clicks are through on Lamar, and he's gone. Way squishy, and they want more. Yuragi's invis thanks to the Silver Edge, but Taiga doesn't have that benefit, so now he's invis because he's been buried. Dead again.
I'm just looking for timings, I'm looking for like openings for OG, but RNG's not giving them any. Like every time they get a kill, it's either on the Nyx or the Ogre. I don't know when the last time a core has died on the RNG side. It must have been like a good 15 minutes ago.
Somnus hasn't died all game. You've got 8, 2, and 7 for Ghost. He had those 2 deaths bottom. And then Chalice, he's 10-3 and 8. Like, these cores are showing off.
Yeah, it's somewhat ridiculous. That's what we expect from Somnus though, right? Like, masterclass performance after masterclass performance.
Look at where he's hitting these racks from. It's just like...
Yeah, Dragonlance plus attack range challenge will do that for you. You're basically a sniper. We got quite a lot of snipers in Dota nowadays. He's going into the Satanic. Razor finished his Blink Dagger. It's just items over items over items. On OG, you're not really getting any more items on. The Underlord, he kind of stagnated. Puck went into the E-Blade, so there's some damage potential there. But it's more to save rather than to kill, really. And I'm still just questioning the damage output.
Look at where Kaka is stationed at the moment. He might just try to go Blink Impale. Yeah, that's exactly what he wants. And he's gone.
Wow.
Yuragi is dead so fast. They will get the kill on Amisha. They'll look over at Amar. They're going to blink right on top of him. They don't even want to let him leave. Amar on the run. He'll get taken out by Chalice. Chalice with a double kill. I mean, it has been a show-off for him. This team is really working well and meshing as a unit. And they are in the OG base. They don't have buyback on Amar or Yuragi, and they're in trouble. They call GG. That is it. They'll tap out. RNG will take game number 1 over OG. That was some of the best we've seen RNG play.
Yeah.
You know, they had that series against OGD in the DPC. They got 2-0'd by LGD. I started to worry about RNG again, especially coming into an event like this, international LAN. And I mean, that is a jumping off point to really look forward to.
Yeah, definitely well played, but even more so, I would say well drafted. Like this draft, OG, I'm not saying they had no chance to win, but it's so much more difficult for them, right? They don't have any stuns. Even though they won their lanes quite convincingly, they just couldn't really get anything done. The only thing they had was Coil, but then Kaka outplayed him like twice, then Puck died twice, suddenly his momentum is gone, and then the game becomes really easy, right? You have Blink Daggers to initiate, you have Razor to frontline for you, you have CK to frontline for you.
Yeah. It was really pretty perfect from RNG, and we're going to take a look at the highlights, but not with us, but with your analysts. We'll send it over to KP and the 2 analysts that look great. Guys, take it away.
Yo. Okay, well, what a way to start for RNG. OG not quite able to fully turn up or turn on. I am back on the desk, joined by both Lacoste and Seb. Lacoste, you know, I'm going to start with you before we get to the crybabying from the OG fanboy. Talk to me about RNG. Why did this look so good?
I feel like they took one from OG's book, and taking the Razor, having 3 cores, and they synced up the timings real nice with like 2 BKBs. CK's was a bit later, but it feels like they had their number. Like it looked pretty even game until that one point where RNG just went in, and like a lot of these stats did add up. I feel like Amar didn't get the shine in this game. Like he was playing Underlord, one of his better heroes, but kind of became difficult in the mid game because the overwhelming damage. There was also like who's getting the jump if they're getting the static link and Somnus. I was a bit skeptical looking at the item build that he was going for. Like you need some mana regen item, Falcon Blade, Boots of Travel. I'd say that's super greedy, but seems like they wanted to play for a little later timing, and it worked out for them. Like Somnus had an extreme, like he didn't die that game.
Yeah, he had a great game, honestly, and it felt like we really, like OG side, like they never really like hit a timing that they could really use. Obviously, Marcy and Ench are probably not the best heroes at, you know, finding fights. Nick's probably much better at, you know, finding openings, you know, like AoE controlling people. So you have supports that don't really kind of come into play in the mid game.